Okay. Okay. Hey everybody. I'm going to set samples for the blow distance. And I've got the camera set so that you can see the hammers peeking over these parts in here. You can see they're uneven and so forth. I'm going to set samples and then we'll even those out. Now I'm setting these to 47 millimeters from the strings. After I take this sip of root beer. Okay, you need some type of a gauge to set these samples, and you need a capstan wrench. Which is, where did I set the capstan wrench? Here it is. You need a capstan wrench of some sort. Okay, we're going to set this here. You know what? I'm gonna change a little bit what I do. I'm gonna set it to 46. I'm just gonna do that right now. Because I have a feeling that I will want to change it there later if I don't. So 46 it is. That'll give us a little more aftertouch, which is fine. Never hurt anyone, just a little bit. Okay. All right, so I'm setting my B's and E's and the ends of the sections. And sometimes a couple in between if it's spanning a long ways. Okay, so you can kind of see me moving things in there, setting these where I need. All right. Here's this. Okay. All right. So we'll move it over to the next section here. It's harder to see those because they're lower. Let's see if we can get the camera just about right to peek over where those hammers are. There they are. Just look right through that gap there. All right. 46 millimeters. Here we come. Some of these are really close already, if not already there, because we did a good job guesstimating where it was going to end up when we just set it rough. Well, that's good. Okay. B, E. We'll do the end of the section. That one's basically there, just a touch down maybe. Then I'm going to keep my sample there, and I'm going to set the end of the section a couple hammers over based on what I see from the gauge right there. Okay, we'll this at the end of the section here. Alrighty. That was exciting. Okay, we'll set B. Okay. All right. Looks like maybe I need to go down a little bit on that one. Okay. Put my B set there. Interesting. Interesting. Just comparing that to my sample, see how much aftertouch I have. What does aftertouch you say? I say that aftertouch is the amount the key goes down after the mechanism has already escaped. After the jack has escaped from pushing up the hammer. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, got those set. So I'm going to set these all the way across. Okay. That one's like almost resting on the cushion. We might have to tear the cushions down a little bit to get everything to work right. That can sometimes be the case. Alright, so most of these up here in the treble are way high. Everything else was really close. Okay. Let's see, I should probably move the camera where I'm looking now. Huh. I will do that in 1 second. So it's a lot of samples to set, granted, but I like the result. I like the result. Let's move the camera where we can peek right inside of there. Okay. So I'm looking right through the gap there at the hammers and setting those samples in there. Just right underneath the stretcher, through past the screws to the white things, right? The hammers. You know, part of the reason why I was thinking I wanted to strengthen this treble probably is because of how high the hammers are actually. They're so high that I'm losing lots of power. So it may be that once I regulate it, I'll think, oh, it's just fine. Which I wouldn't be surprised at because I don't usually deep lacquer hammers twice. I don't usually have to do that. When the distance from the strings is greater, you can hit the string with a lot greater velocity and power. So it strengthens tone considerably. It makes it so you can play more louder dynamics. It increases your dynamic range on the top end for sure. So this adjustment will be very healthy for the treble of this piano. Okay. So I tiled this go the distance because we're setting below distance. And I'm tired and I would very much like to quit today, but I want to get to this point. Just want to finish up here with the regulation. Then next time we hit it, we can start putting the dampers in. Pretty soon we'll have a piano. How do you like that? Not just any piano. A 9-foot piano. Steinway, no less. All right. Just want to go down a little further with this. There we go. Okay, that's all my samples. Now I can set it out on the table. We're going to set this thing out on the table and start to regulate the blow. Some time to blow the man. I wonder who named it blow distance and why. I mean, the hammer delivers a blow, right? So that could very well be it. So I'm touching the cushions, just about touching. But you know what? I'm going to leave them. I think they'll be fine. I don't think I need to tear down the cushion on here just yet. I think it will be just right. So this is what we've ended up with as far as, let's put this up a little bit here. This is what we've ended up with as far as blow distance. And here we go, turning more screws. All right. So the B's and E's and N's of the section. So I'm going to raise up a little bit here. Interesting. This is an enjoyable adjustment to make. It's not uncomfortable or anything. It's great. You know, once you got your samples, you're good, you're set. We're just filling in the dots. Making a smooth line in between the samples. Notice the base hammers really slope up with the curvature of the piano. The string height it really slopes right there across the bass bridge. Okay, see that sloping upward? And this guy, we move some of these down. Okay, there we go. Turning screws. Go in the distance. All right. Okay, then these are pretty well where they need to be. Just a couple tweaks. There we go. And here, turn these down. You can't get around it. A piano needs to be regulated in order to work right. Right? As much as you want it sometimes, it's gotta be done. My favorite part of this whole rebuilding process is probably doing the belly and restringing. I guess that's part of the belly restringing. So fixing the pin block, putting in a new pin block, drilling it, and stringing the piano. That's probably my favorite part. But if the other people who work with me knew how to do this part better, I would maybe switch and have them do most of this, but I'm gonna tweak my sample up, just kind of not believe it a little bit there. Okay. Okay. So new parts, new hammers, when you're trying to set the blow distance, they're a little more not as stable. They're going to stabilize a little bit even over time. Even if you have your jack and your repetition lever height set correctly, it's going to stabilize a bit over time. I'll tweak that sample just a little bit. I don't believe it totally. Okay. right. Okay. Finish off up here. I'll I believe it's already 9 o'clock. I think what I'm going to do is set this here. Maybe quickly go through let off again. Maybe. No, you know what? I think I'm just going to throw it in, give it a listen, give it a quick run of the keys, and then call it a night. And I would love to have time to work on this piano tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to have much of that. I've been kind of called in a few different directions for tomorrow with some significant travel to get to my jobs and back. And the dealer wants me to do some voicing a little bit. So I'll probably stream some of that here and there. I'm going to do a repair. A customer said that previous tuner said their tuning pins were loose on their piano. It's a Steinway upright. So they're really anxious that that be fixed. So I'm going to kind of go see what's going on there, whether I need to tap pins or put in a bigger pin or something and tune it. I mean, that job's a little further away from home here, but we'll go do that. I might stream some of that, showing that troubleshooting and evaluation of that piano. And then my daughter is has a graduation first thing in the morning. I gotta go to that first, so. Okay. So, jawohl. Okay. So look, I'm moving these hammers down quite a bit from the treble here. I'm changing that adjustment significantly there. Let's see. So that's what I was saying. I thought the treble was way underpowered in tone. And it may be that I just drop the hammers and regulate it here, and it might be just fine for me. So I'm not going to rush to put lacquer on tonight. We're going to wait. Get the dampers in, listen to it tomorrow, things like that. Here's one that's not stable where it wants to sit. So I'll do what I was saying, and I'm just going to turn the repetition lever thing down just a little bit. And then look, it dropped lower, but it's going to be stable now. It's going to come to the same place each time. This one has the same disease right here. And it doesn't bother me. It's kind of normal to not nail it, you know, on every single one. Okay. And let's drop these down the whole inch, half inch, whatever, 3/4 of an inch that they're off. That's significant for sure. For sure. Okay. Down and down, up and up. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's still off the rest cushion fine. So we're good there. Don't need to tear cushions down, which is good. I don't like to have to do that. I don't like to have to build them up either. That's what we had to do on that A, was build the cushions higher. Okay, let's see if we can level this out. Okay. Almost there. Almost. Okay, then. Okay. That is blow distance. Set. And we'll move around a little bit as we play it in, but that's pretty good. That's a pretty good starting point for this hammer line. All right, I might just get a second wind here, but we'll see. Okay, let's stick the action in there. See what we have. I would love to be able to produce better quality sound for these streams, but I'm afraid it's gonna require getting a little mixing board and another mic that I can plug into that. And I don't think I have to get something too terribly expensive to improve the quality here, but I kind of don't want to go to the expense on this streaming because I don't get a lot of return from this. But anyway, if you're wondering. Aha! There's a piece of hammer shank there keeping that chip block from going where it's supposed to. Oh yeah! That's the sound I was looking for. And it was just regulation. It wasn't... I don't need to deep lacquer those. Now I know this is over the top for you, the sound, but there's plenty of access to power. Plenty of access. You know, we tune that up. We make the strength to the hammers, and you know, maybe even some drops of hardener if we feel like it at that point if we need it. But that's good. I'm curious what the down weight and up weight numbers are in the treble sections where the hammer's hung a lot further this way. I'm curious what they are currently. I'm going to satisfy my curiosity. I'm going to check this D, which is right, the first of the section. Oh yeah, they're much lighter than the others were. They're still on the heavy side of like the static numbers, but they're a lot lighter. You know, I may not be able to take this piano where I want to down weight wise. Well, some of them I will. That's not consistent. That's a lot lighter. That's going to be 50 something. 50 whatever. That's good. Okay. Let's see here. So that's 51 already, maybe 50, 50, 51, 21. That's pretty good. There's some friction in there. Remember, I'm going to reduce the friction a little bit. Now that's the middle section. That's where the hammers are closest to the center, so they're lighter. Let's check up here, kind of both ends. Okay, that one is 50. 50 what? 50, 27. That's good. That is good. Okay, let's try the middle here. Probably something similar. Yeah, it's about 50. 49.50. Well, good, good. So I'm gonna so I may end up adding. That's a good up weight right there. Yeah, that's good. I may end up adding. Sorry, can you even see what I was doing with the weights? I hope. There it is over there. My little scale. I was measuring these. So sorry if you couldn't see that. It doesn't feel too awfully heavy to me right now. But I know it is heavier. But it's not. I mean, I'm not trying to play anything really difficult. I don't have the weight of the dampers on there yet. Let's see what we have on this note here. The B flat 4. It's going to be 54, 53. 52. Okay, interesting. Interesting. This is different than the other day, I want to say, but let me check the A. Oh, wow, that's 48. You know, it's funny when you get things regulated, it changes things a lot. But let's check. We were checking the C, right? Let's see where the C is. The C is still really heavy with a down weight of about 56, an up weight of 30-ish. 5630. That's 13 grams of friction. And then the C sharp that we tested before, yeah, that's also heavy. So it's funny, there's a big jump here from the A down to the C. And I'm just kind of gathering information, seeing where this might go, where we might want it to go. You know, this is 55. That's 50. It's interesting. That was 55. This is about 54. Yeah. 54, and then all but really high up weight. And then this was really light. It was like 49. Yeah, interesting. It's really inconsistent, at least over this area where I have a really heavy note. Let's go below the C. Let's see B. See where B is at. That's heavier also, like the C. This one is also heavier. I mean, we're talking 57, 56. Okay. Okay. Getting a picture. 54, 53-ish. So really, that one's 53. So really, it's just really uneven. Okay. So we might want to so we probably will only have to be working on this range of the keyboard and just evening things out, which will be somewhat challenging actually, because I don't want to be plugging a bunch of, drilling out leads and plugging a bunch of holes if I can avoid it. So 53, 54 again on there. So actually we're a little closer than I thought we would be. It's funny, the C that we tried to weigh just happened to be one of the heaviest notes on the keyboard. Yeah, down here it's 50, 51. We're about where we want to be. So I was thinking I would have to add like a lid or everything, but I don't. So just evening things out, I don't think it's going to affect, I think that'll be a good thing. The friction's really consistent, and we're going to drop that a little bit overall with some lubrication. Have plenty of power, like I said. I'm satisfied with that. So yeah, so what's that? I'm gonna go through and just check let off real quick and set it again by touch and feel. That's kind of my way of refining it. So let me grab my let off wrench from my bag. Let's see here. Just want to make sure that it's here, I'm going to put you down here. So I'm going to be doing touch and feel. Okay. So we're just going to be listening and pushing through the key. Pushing through the key to hear when it strikes the string. So if I can't get it to strike the string, I need to raise it. Like that. Fine. So even though I shake the... Oh, I gotta turn that off. Just one moment. can do without that right now. So even though I shaped the hammers, it didn't pull lead off that far away. Okay, I can still. I'm turning a couple of these up, but not much. You can also kind of hear how well it, or how firmly it strikes the string when you play through the jack like this. I push to the shelf, and then I push through quickly, and then more slowly or gently. And I want it to not fire on the gentle one, but touch on the bigger one. And you can kind of set them all to where they'll make the same volume, and then you know they're really consistent. But one variable here is if you have different amounts of aftertouch, which we do still. I haven't gone through to kind of refine things with the dip. But if we did, I mean, it's really close, very, very close to, really consistent. But if you have different amounts of aftertouch, it'll behave a little differently. So one with a lot less aftertouch will seem like it's too close, but it's maybe not, may not be. Yeah, these aren't too close at all. I thought they might be after shaping the hammers, but no. Sorry, not too close, too far away. They're not too far away at all. That note didn't have very much aftertouch, so it felt kind of weird. So here we go. I'll push through slowly. It doesn't hit. I increase a little bit, then it hits right away. So I can set how much harder do I need to push through or faster to get it to hit. Down here in the bass, I'm going to make sure I have to push a lot harder or faster to get it to actually hit that big fat string than up here. Because I don't want the vibration of the string to get in the way of the hammer after it's let off. I don't want it to hit the hammer again. See, that one's too close. Not sure how that happened. As far as I'm concerned, this is the way to set let off, because you're going not based off a dimension necessarily, but how it behaves when it's right up there against the string. So I think it's easy to kind of feel out if it's too close and fix it, or if it's too far away. Play to that shelf of resistance you feel, and push through. When you're learning this, you'll want to check visually to compare what you're getting with what you're hearing and feeling. You know, maybe even with a gauge if you want. Kind of learn it. But this is telling me we hardly took anything off the top of the hammers by shaping them. Try the other side of my tool. Oh, that fits better. No hit, hit. No hit, hit. If it has a lot of aftertouch, you'll want to set it so that it feels like it's a little closer. Because when you take that aftertouch out, even it with its neighbors, you'll realize, oh, the let-off is farther away than what I thought. Okay, this section we took some felt off for sure. I can tell. Which was the goal. Remember, I said, oh, in this section, I'm gonna maybe do a little more with the shaping, intentionally getting into some of the harder layers of the felt, since this section was inherently a little weaker. Let off will affect the tone of your louder playing, your louder dynamics. The most thing that you'll notice if let off is way off and too far away is that you can't play softly. It's harder to play really softly without a misfire. That's because the jack stop's pushing the hammer towards the string further away. So you have to give it a little oomph to make it all the way where it's going to hit the string. So you can't finesse it as well as when it's right close. When you get up here, when you get up in the top section, you're going to be hearing more of just a knock rather than a note. So you have to be a little more sensitive. So that magnet, took us from where let off was way far away and put us just right on target, where we want to be for an easy, quick refinement. That key kind of makes a noise, but there we go. That one was a little far away. Hearing the action kind of knock. That won't be there when it's cinched down. So you kind of have to ignore that noise. It's really quiet, but it's hitting. Okay. Let off. We're going to refine drop now. Okay. Yeah, I got my second wind here. I'm like, all right, we're going to just finish this regulation. Okay. So I'm going to pull this out and take another look at drop. It's sounding different to me. Of course, it's feeling different. It's getting more of the sound that I'm looking for, you know, from a piano. Grab my screwdriver that I'm going to use to set drop. And you know what though I might do is I might refine the aftertouch first. And then it'll be really easy to set drop. I just set it all right in a row, you know. So I'm going to just play the shelf. So at this point my blow is consistent where it wants to be. My let off is consistent. So the variable that I'm going to change to affect how much aftertouch I have is actually right at the key. Because I can make the smallest change here of anything and have it change my aftertouch the biggest amount, okay? So I'm going to start. I'm going to put a blue under my C. So I'm just going to start evening things out. I know the C was my sample, but as I'm seeing the other things set, I'd like this to be a little more shallow. So there we go. And but even changing it just by a blue, changed it too much. Try green. Try green, see if I'm happy with that. The blue is 10 thousandths, the green is 5. Yeah, I like that. So you can really feel the difference how far the key goes down after you push through that shelf, that resistance. And I'm just going to go through now and kind of even things out. If one feels too shallow, like there's not enough comfortable distance after it hits, then I'm going to take punchings out of it. Till it matches. I'm mostly just making adjustments with the green. These punchings are old enough, the cloth punchings underneath here, that it is making it harder to make this consistent, because when I put it back in, if it's rotated from where normal position where it wore a dent in it, then yeah, it'll read more shallow or deep depending on how it gets put in there. So that's unfortunate, but I'm gonna make it work. And like I say, once those get placed, they're not gonna move around much. I wouldn't expect. Try green under there. Boy, it's really consistent already. Just to give you an idea of the level of consistency here, since you're not feeling it, you're not sitting here. It's if I were to sample any new piano, for the most part, Yamaha, Steinway, whatever, they wouldn't be this consistent out of the gate. And so the level of consistency where we're at is really high. But that's where I like to be. We're going within a green and on a scale of aftertouch, where you could set a little more aftertouch or a little less, this one's right in the middle. It's not really, really thin on aftertouch. It's not really, really gushy on aftertouch. Put green in there. Can we go up the keyboard? Yeah, so you just try and get really good at feeling how deep that note steps down after you Blue under there. These definitely don't have enough aftertouch compared to the rest. You know, and it could have very much have to do with the fact that the geometry on it is different, right? Because we have a shorter shank till you reach the hammer on this section. Green there. This doesn't take like superhuman senses. You just do this a little bit, you'll feel the difference pretty easy. It's not that difficult if you practice at it a little bit. You know what I could have done on these punchings? I could have just flipped them over, and now the part that was on the bottom is on the top, and it was really flat. So it'd be more consistent no matter which way it was rotated. I'll have to remember that thought. I think that might be a good way to go when you're trying to use the older punchings and regulate. No, I mean, punchings aren't super expensive. You could just get new cloth punchings, but I think what you gain from it, you know, it's already quite expensive to rebuild a piano. You know, it doesn't really need to be replaced per se. I don't know, maybe you just have to draw the line somewhere, is what I'm saying. So by doing this first, before drop will be a piece of cake. Just put everything right in a line, and it should work out just great. Okay. I've changed a lot of these, but not all of them by any means. And take paper out of that. Yeah, take that last green out, I guess. I turned the punching over. It's a little more squishy, but okay. Now we'll refine drop, and it's getting late, isn't it? I'll check the chat in case anyone had any issues or questions there. Okay, Jeffrey Boyle says good evening. Andrew Otten says, when you were adjusting aftertouch, were you feeling how far down between adjacent keys, or more feeling for how far it goes past the shelf? Comparing it with adjacent keys and evening them out at that point. So I've already set everything else with my samples and everything to where it's close to where I want it, you know, overall. So then I just need to even it out. Okay, no problem. He says, sorry for the typos. No problem. Okay, let me go ahead and carry on, finish up here. We'll do drop. Okay. And get my little camera here. So now they all have the same aftertouch. I mean, drop's actually pretty good because we didn't change the lead off that much. But now it's like you can just put them all like straight in a row pretty much if the aftertouch is the same and you know it's correct, okay? Remember this slants down. That's why you're kind of seeing them slant down. They follow the string height. So that's actually showing, look, this one's a little lower, but look, it has more drop than this. That one has a little bit less, a little more. So I just turn this up and now that is in line with the others. And voila, it also has the same amount of drop, okay? Look at that. That is, when you can kind of get that look, you know you've arrived with the regulation there. Okay. When it just all lines up and you've got consistent drop. I might put a little more drop on number 80 or number 1. I think number 1 has a little more aftertouch. Like I could put a punching under there, but I'm okay with a little more aftertouch on number 1 and a little more drop. It's got a string so fat. Okay. Yeah, so that's easy. Look at this. This one is a little higher, but it also doesn't quite have as much drop. Lower it a bit. Just a tiny bit. You know, there could be slight differences in let off too, right? But it's looking really good and consistent. That one has a little bit less aftertouch, but it's still within range. I don't think I could change it or want to change it necessarily. This one can go up, have more drop. There, like that. Now we're just, see how they're just so beautifully in a line like that. Everything feels crisp. Pushing through let off feels just nice and crisp and correct. I don't know how to say that. That one felt a little mushy, and look, it's low. There, now it feels crisp. The crispness that I'm talking about comes from when it goes through let off, the jack escapes, and when the jack tender hits the let off button at the same time as the drop screw hits the repetition lever, or the other way around. The repetition lever hits the drop screw. When they hit simultaneously, you get that crisp feel, and the result when you're actually playing the piano at speed is it feels like there's nothing in the way of what you're playing. It just feels really immediate and clean in its touch, okay? You don't feel any shelf, you don't feel a bump, right? It just goes through that. This one, the let off might be a little lower, but I'm not going to fuss with it. Actually, I think it's fine. I think it's just the drop was a little much. So we've really dialed this thing in, actually. I'm quite pleased with the regulation on it at this point. Look, these hammers are a whole different ball game because they're hung so much closer to me. Okay, that's crisp there. So I'm just going to match everything else to that. Just put them in a line. So to be able to get things consistent on a regulation, I don't feel like that can be learned on an action model. Where you only have one node. I mean, that's a great place to start to learn the basic functions of things, right? But then the next level is to take it to the next level, is to figure out, okay, how do I actually put that into practice across a whole keyboard and not go crazy in the process and get it done in a reasonable amount of time and have it be really consistent in touch. That's the challenge. Okay. Yeah, this is just feeling really similar. I mean, you can see it. You can see the way it drops and then kind of has a second rise. They're all super similar, the way they act. Slight differences maybe in let off and such, but not much really. It's better than I usually do, so I'm going to take it. I shouldn't have admitted that, huh? I should have said, this is how regulation turns out all the time. Okay. No, it's close, but some just end up better than others for sure. Okay, then. So really, the only thing that could be that I might want to tweak on this from this point is to even out the springs and check to make sure that they're even and consistent from 1 to 1, and then the checking, and kind of go through and make sure that none of the tails are rubbing the checking. But I'll save that for another day. This piano's basically regulated. Okay, I mean the checking's pretty consistent even after our rough set, right? It's pretty darn consistent. If you notice that the heights kind of stop at the same. As long as I hit them right. There we go. So this is regulated. We went a little past time what I wanted to, but I'll be glad when we've gone this far. Because now I can start working on dampers. I don't usually respond to if the weighting on an action isn't like really even. I don't recall a lot of times where it's bothering me when I play piano. But on this piano, it does. It may just be because I'm aware of it. Excuse me, but I'm going to look forward to evening this out. Besides all the voicing and that, making the touch feel more acceptable and just a little bit lighter and faster and consistent. That'll be nice. So, hey, I'll check the chat if there's anything before we sign off here, because I am bushed. Let's see here. Nope, nothing new. If anyone wants to write anything over the next couple minutes, I'll leave it open while I gather some of my things, and I'm happy to answer a question or two on the way home. But thanks for watching otherwise. Thanks for going the distance with me. Okay, here's a question. What about dimpling on the let-off buttons, indentations of the old felt? Yeah, that's a thing, Andrew. Andrew asked. That is a thing, and but I don't have so much of an issue with it. Like, it's a little bit. I notice it sometimes, but it doesn't mean I can't set the let off. For the most part, I can use the old let off buttons. Back in the day, I was replacing let off button felts, more, but I realized I actually don't need to. It's fine. What you need to do is make sure you don't set it too close, realizing that after you set it, things are probably going to get a little bit closer after it's played in just a little bit. So you do want to kind of factor that into account if you don't replace the let off buttons, or even if you do, the new felt is soft and it's going to wear in. But yeah, and I don't know if it's just that I'm doing pianos that have been regulated more often, so the dimple isn't as obvious, and it might be the way the materials wear in our climate. Some climates maybe it's just awful and you just have to replace it. But I'm finding I don't have to, and I can still regulate it. It's pretty linear when I turn the screw. So that's a good question. Thanks for that one. Okay, let's see. Any last call for comments, questions here? Last call. I got a couple more minutes. I'll be right back to check it. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Looks like that's all we have. Thanks for tuning in and your participation, and we'll catch you later.